Hello and welcome to this midweek thought. My name is Eldon Sandys and I am one of the occasional preachers here in our parish. In one sense, I didn't have to think very long about what to talk about today, because as I was checking my diary to see when I was scheduled to do this talk, a question posed by Jesus came to me immediately, and I mean immediately. Candidly, I was very surprised because I suppose I had been expecting to start to think about some parable or other on which to base this talk. But that question was just there and would not go away. And the question Jesus posed was, "Who do you say that I am?" It's a moment recorded in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and Jesus asks his disciples who people were saying he is. And then he asked his disciples the same question. This passage prompted in me two moments from my career in marketing, advertising, and market research. Let me try to explain. Firstly, as I read the passage, I thought this is just like Jesus commissioning an awareness and attitude study, which is a familiar market research tool. It was as if he'd conducted an opinion poll to find out what people thought of him. He'd been teaching, healing, performing miracles, challenging the status quo. Time to find out what the public made of him. And back came the results from his disciples. They replied, well, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. And then he asks his disciples, but what about you? Who do you say that I am? And in Matthew we read that Simon Peter answered him, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus replied in turn, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. It had been revealed to Peter who Jesus was, his identity, not in the sense of Jesus' name or his appearance, but the very essence of the man. And here's the second bit of marketing nostalgia prompted by this passage, the business of understanding identity. Now, sophisticated businesses periodically conduct these awareness and attitude studies because they want to know what consumers know and feel about them. What is the essence of the company? What is the principal characteristic about a company or a brand which stands out in the public mind? It might be quality or value for money or superb service or brilliant engineering, or it might be something negative, unreliable, shoddy, or it might have no clear identity at all. It's simply not obvious what the company stands for. And companies will take steps to reinforce a positive identity or change a negative one. And this is not simply a matter of devising some superficial snappy slogan or an entertaining ad campaign. One ad man in the 80s famously said that effective advertising simply revealed the truth in a product. And what he meant by that was there has to be substance and truth behind any slogan or any advertising campaign. Otherwise, building a corporate identity can be likened to building a house on sand and not on a rock. And the better companies recognize that identity, brand character, if you like, should permeate everything the company does. It should run through the company like the words on a stick of rock. And of course, there will be lapses. For example, a car company with a reputation for engineering excellence might suddenly find one of its cars being recalled for some technical issue. But the stronger the identity, the more likely it is that these occasional lapses will be forgiven. Well, let's not turn this into a marketing seminar, but there is a point to discussing identity. Let's get back to how Peter answered Jesus' question. But what about you? Jesus asked. Who do you say I am? Peter gets it. He sees it. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Peter saw Christ's identity and grasped it, and saw that there was nothing superficial about it. Jesus had lived out that identity in all that he said and did. Nothing Christ said or did took away from that identity. Everything he said or did was consistent with that identity. To borrow from that famous ad man, Christ revealed the truth in himself. Whatever our perceived identity is, I wonder how consistent it is. So here's a question and a challenge for us all, and the reason for my brief marketing seminar. If we ask people, who do you say that I am? What answers might we expect? Of course, we might get a range of answers. Our name, obviously, but beyond that, we could be defined by our relationships, father, mother, friend, by occupation, engineer, doctor, or by personality, shy, gregarious, dull. Or we might just get a lot of don't knows. What would it take? How would our lives have to change for the people we ask to answer, that's easy, you are a Christian? What would it take for people to define us by our faith above all else? That being a Christian was our defining characteristic, our identity, the thing that drove our behavior, the faith that ran through us like words through a stick of rock. Is that a tall order? Yes. But something to strive for? Surely, yes. Might even involve us in a change of language. Being confident to say, I am a Christian, rather than in a rather self-effacing way, well, yes, I'm a churchgoer. Being ready to state our beliefs and why we hold them. And of course, at times we will lapse, like that car company with a solid reputation for reliability that had one of its models recalled. After all, look at Peter, who had proclaimed, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God, but later denied Christ 3 times when challenged. But our lapses are forgiven. So that's my thought for the week. If we ask people, who do you say that I am? How would they answer? And how would we change our lives so that they would answer, oh, that's easy, you are a Christian? Thank you for watching, and have a peaceful and happy day.